Howdy, howdy, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to my little digital slice of the grand land of Orleans. Chapter 15 is today, the read aloud of Maximum Entertainment 2.0. Now, we have an accompanying video that's going to be going up at 5 o'clock that you can watch prior to this stream, which will be at 6. So if you're here at 6, you probably already saw that video go up. Good on ya. If not, you can always check it out afterwards. But yes, today we are talking about close-up magic. So I did some close-up magic in another video. So check it out. And here we are. Now this chapter is a couple of pages. So let's jump right into it. Here we go. Chapter 15, Close-Up Magic. The most performed category of magic is the close-up kind. No scientific survey validates that observation, but one need merely peruse the magic magazines and catalogs to reach this conclusion. By itself, card magic, which is almost always performed in an intimate setting, occupies the biggest slice of the magic by type pie chart. So, while the guiding principles and strategies covered in this book apply to vast segments of the mystery worker population, it makes sense to touch on some of the special situations and obstacles faced by the armies of close-up workers scattered across the globe. Traditionally, the close-up worker deals with one of two scenarios. The first is the more difficult. You walk up cold to a group of people. They may be seated at a table or they might be standing. In either case, you start as the outsider. The easier situation is the warm situation. They invite you over to their table or they come to where you are, as in the magic castle. In the first case, the cold start, your opening words take on even more importance than normal. Frequently, you will be interrupting a conversation or worse, a meal. So it becomes critical that you ingratiate yourself quickly. Body language and attitude count more than canned words at this time. Some of the best close-up performers don't do or say anything related to magic when they first approach a potential audience. They simply chat for a while and use that interlude to assess the ambience and personalities of the group. Experienced workers are flexible enough to read the vibes and adjust the repertoire accordingly. So on YouTube, when I upload a video, most of the people watching this video might be cold viewers. They might be people who are not familiar with my channel, but they might be warm viewers who are people who are at least initiated into magic content. So when they see it, they're like, do I want to watch this today? Because on YouTube, they typically recommend, the algorithm recommends videos that you've watched previously or genre specific. So if you're not watching magic videos, most likely it's not going to push my video to you. And if it happens to do so, then you're a cold viewer who might not have any interest in magic. So I would recommend that if you're here watching this, just give it a chance. You might learn something, especially if you want to perform in any capacity. From Maximum Entertainment 2.0. You can check out the subsequent videos that I have on that. Pleased to meet you. Close-up workers often perform a continuing series of short sets, and that very fact can lead to performance fatigue. You must be aware of that tendency and fight it. I hate seeing, as I have many times, a performer who in any way conveys a feeling that he's done his 7-minute short 15 times in the past 2 hours, and now he appears bored and distracted. We use this analogy here. It's very important. We do not practice as much as we do so that we can be disconnected during the performance. We practice and perfect what we do in private so that we can engage with our audiences and ad-lib those special moments while we're performing, because everything else is preset. You're performing your trick. You're looking for those isolated moments. Your creative mind is creating the magic because the script is already set in place for you. So do that. Be entertaining. Don't let that be you. Don't get your energy level up every time before you approach a new group. Every group may include someone important, and every group may include a fuddy-duddy who will complain to the higher-ups if he is less than pleased with you. So smile! Exclamation point! Establish your human identity. Start that process by introducing yourself. Hi, my name is Bob, and I'm the magician here tonight. Do you have a minute for something amazing? Or cool, interesting, out of the ordinary? Connect with me and the people I'm with. If you know you interrupted us, smile and apologize for the interruption. This appears to be an exception to my never apologize rule, but at this point, those folks are not yet your audience, and then go immediately into a strong, quick opener. Do not say, "Would you like to see a trick?" Anyone can do a trick. You do miraculous things. You want me to pick another card? Too many close up workers don't vary their effects enough. You can be wonderfully entertaining during a parade of card tricks as long as. A lot of yawning today. You can be wonderfully entertaining during a parade of card tricks as long as the plot don't overlap. Each new effect, card or otherwise, must showcase some new talent, skill, or power, or develop a new plot. First, I'll find your hopelessly lost card. Then I will make it magically jump to another location. Now I can play poker with you, and despite your choosing who gets which cards, I still manage to win every time. Perhaps softening the loser message with Harry Lorraine's clever running gag, "I want you to win." It's something that I do with. I usually have it sitting right here. Nice. Drop something. Brief interlude. I think I may have taken it upstairs. Yep. Well, I don't have it here right now. But it would have been a great trick to show you. uh, anyway, the premise of the trick is that I have 4 cards. I give you 2 cards. I keep 2 cards. Depending on who I'm performing it for, I will either give them the winning cards or I keep the winning cards. It really just depends on who I'm performing it for. The key here is that aside from the method, each trick must feel as though you're showing them something quite different than if it really is not. I've seen magicians do entertaining. Excuse me. I've seen magicians do entertaining 10 or 15-minute sets that were based on little more than the repeated use of the well-executed double lifts. Yet each effect took the spectator into new emotional territory. Surprise me, then surprise me again in the way you surprised me. May I borrow your your watch? One advantage the close-up worker has over the stage performer is the ability to borrow items from onlookers quickly and easily. Magic with my watch, my pen, or my ring will always have a head start over conjuring with your watch, your pen, or your ring. Borrow objects when you need to, as long as it does not slow down the pacing or become a burden on anyone. If you need to borrow something that is not immediately at hand, do something. Talk, juggle, or perform a quick trick while the object is being retrieved. Never just stand around while the woman fumbles through her purse looking for the dollar bill you requested. Dead time sucks the life out of entertainment. So ensure that you do something that keeps the focus on you, not on the hunt for the greenback. Remember, something interesting must be happening at all times. By the way, please don't neglect to return borrowed items! Exclamation point! Yeah, don't steal stuff. Think that's ridiculous advice? Not long ago, I brought a neighbor to a New York City magic show. The magician borrowed my friend's $10 bill and did the usual sucker bits of business. Suddenly, he was taking his bow and exiting the stage! Exclamation point! My friend looked at me. Isn't he supposed to give me the money back? Later, while we happened to be dawdling on the street outside the theater, deciding where to grab a bite to eat, the magician turned up with the bill and said, "I knew I'd find you out here." Yeah, right. My guess is that we weren't the only ones in the audience who noted this lapse, but we probably were the only ones who knew the debt actually was repaid. Not a great impression to leave on an audience! Exclamation point! May I borrow your hand? The clean one. In general, the strongest tricks are those that happen in the hands of the spectator. In my early days, when I was doing mentalism on cruise ships, there's a lot of exclamation points in this one. I incongruously, that's a tough one for me, included an interlude with sponge balls. Love sponge balls. Exclamation point! Don't forget to check out that video that I did prior to this one. SpongeBob magic. My favorite. Now I forgot where I'm at. Good job. A woman shrieking in surprise, surprised delight is a reaction that's hard to top. So, despite conjuring dogma against mixing magic and mentalism, it stayed in my program for several years. Magic books and catalogs are jammed with in the hand tricks, and the wise close up magician develops one or two such killer routines. Don't try not to be the person that is doing a spectacular card set. I'm not saying that you're the best in the world, but for your audience, you're the magician of the moment, right? You're hot. They want to see more. And then somebody says, "Hey, can you show me a coin trick or something?" And you say, "No, I can't." You've just lost some street cred. Turn it on its head. Show them something spectacular, even if it's one of the only pieces that you can do with it. Then say, "Well, let's go back to the cards." Then you can transition back. But show them that you can. Spontaneity. Show them that you can do it. A few basic guidelines must be observed when touching spectators. Be sure your hands are clean and that no one has seen you blowing your nose or doing anything else off-putting. Be sure the objects you place in the hands appear reasonably sterile. Treat the spectator with respect. I have seen magicians manhandle hands and arms when placing sponge balls. Hold them tight! Exclamation point. Tighter! Exclamation point. Higher! Exclamation point. And other objects into the spectator's grasp. Give extra attention to your verbal instructions. If it is imperative that the hand not be opened prematurely, look right into her eyes and say, "Don't open your hand until!" Exclamation point. If she does blow the ending, understand it was your fault, not hers. Finally, on the subject, as a brief interlude there, over the weekend, I have my magic stuff with me. I was out and about for my daughter's birthday, and we were at a location where there was kids everywhere. So I was playing with my magic stuff, and a kid said, "Hey, do you do magic?" And I said, "Yes, of course." And so I showed him a trick, and then at the end, I did something where I specifically said, "Here, hold on to this," because I was doing a card switch. "Here, hold on to this." And he immediately looked at it and said, "Oh, really? I can keep it?" And I was like, and I was like, "No, no, not really." And I just took it back, and I was, and I think the magic moment was lost on him, and it was probably, it was my fault. I take that as my own cue. Really, if you consider a pack of cards costs $4, the card there's 56 cards in a deck, but different values for each of them. That's a card joke. All that. But yeah, that's what happened to me. So, finally, on the subject of magic with borrowed objects, a mini personal entertainment highlight goes to Gregory Wilson on the spot video. On the spot. Every routine on this 2-disc set is performed out in the real world, and with only a few minor exceptions, everything is truly impromptu. No cards, just items real people have about them. All the routines are good, and some are great, but I mostly love this video because of the reactions Gregory gets from the spectators. I laughed when he did his version of Slidini's paper balls over the head for a couple of young women at an outdoor bar. Then I laughed during the explanation in the studio using an eye candy model actress. And then I laughed the most when, to close the first disc, he was back out at a different bar and did it again for another young woman and her friends. Her gentle but increasing frustration at various objects, not just paper balls, mysteriously disappearing from view simply becomes funnier and funnier. Gregory's magical moves on this tape show us nothing groundbreaking, but his people management skills and the joy he elicits from his spectators serve as admirable targets for our own entertainment aspirations. I can't stress enough in my journey where I'm learning the transitioning of doing a trick and performing a trick being vastly different, completely night and day. I can do a trick for anybody, but can I perform a magical moment in the moment for spectators and have that same trick become something astounding that they'll remember potentially for the rest of their lives? That's what we're working on right here with Maximum Entertainment 2.0. Don't forget about the book sponsorship that we've got going on the channel. I already have the first book. All you got to do is help me by donating enough money to ship it off to somebody. Be a book sponsor today, and we can get this book in the hands of aspiring performers just like you and me. Don't blow it. Next section. A small object, a coin, a ball, a pea, is placed in the magician's hand. He blows on his hand and the object vanishes. Let's stop doing that. It's a little weird. A grown man ought not to be blowing on his hand, nor should a woman. There are other ways to make the magic happen. Find them or make up your own. On the other hand, you are probably okay to ask a spectator to blow on your hand, providing it's done in a playful manner. Right? And all I got to do is act naturally. The performer who works in intimate settings must, more than others, avoid pretense, unnecessarily loud speech, and overly dramatic gestures. The best close-up workers I've seen blend into the ambience and rhythms of the room. You can be hilarious without resorting to clownish behavior, and by appearing to be a normal human being, your tricks seem even more amazing. As a quick note, we talked about this earlier with David Blaine. One of the things about David Blaine that made his specials so captivating, bringing close-up magic to the forefront, is that he took a step back. That's what really excelled in his TV specials, because he wasn't just showing you the powerful magic. He was showing you the spectators reacting to his magic, and he kind of was just like, let's let them do their thing, right? Let's let the magic speak for itself and let them get excited. And then that's where his magic happened, was in their minds. Listen to what they say to you and react to it, just as you would in any typical social situation. If you act like a robot, you'll be treated like one. People respond to each other, and you should never break that line of normal human interaction. Never stop a spectator from talking, especially if you're the one who's moved into their space. They want to be part of the fun, and you have no moral authority to stop them. Certainly not at first, and usually never during your time with them. Take control, but be aware that the more intimate the setting, the more subtle and understated you must be. Not everyone understands the dynamics of the showbiz situation the way you do, and this is especially true for close-up and walk-around performers. By what right do we performers expect anyone to adhere to our concepts of proper decorum, especially if we have thrust ourselves into a group? We have no such right, so we must bend to fit the dynamics of the group we're joining, invited or otherwise. After a while, and if you're good, it could be after just a minute or two, you can begin to exert control. Never intimidate. At all costs, avoid words, facial expressions, and gestures that in any way suggest displeasure. These lead to tension, and tension subverts entertainment. Always remain polite and friendly. That closes out our Chapter 15 Close-Up Magic Read Aloud of Maximum Entertainment 2.0. Tomorrow we'll be looking at Chapter 16, which is all about mentalism. Ooh, buddies. I can foresee the future. You will click the subscribe button right over here. And then you will click the video that's just for you. Ooh, but before you leave this video, you will click on the Goals tab and help be a book sponsor today. Yay! Thank you, everybody. Ta-da!